Welcome back to another episode of Tea Time with Sam Light. Today's guest is Jake Kelsick from Antigua, my good homie, and we're going to dive deep into his kiteboarding history. I'm going to share some really valuable knowledge with you about his sponsorship, how to grow a YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm really excited about sharing this one with you. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello, Jake, and welcome to this next episode of Tea Time with Sam. Thanks for joining me.
What up, boo? Good to be here, man. Good to kick it.
Yeah. How's things in Antigua?
Different, man. All good, but different. You know, we are definitely affected by the whole coronavirus lockdown stuff. So right now, Ireland's on complete lockdown. We're only allowed to leave the house between 7 and 12 for essentials like food, stuff like that. Beaches are closed, so there's no kiting, there's no hanging out at the beach. So it's a pretty weird time, but you know, sun's still shining, wind still blowing. Just kind of frustrating that we can't actually get out and use it. But yeah, all good otherwise.
So definitely no kiting during this period.
Nope, I think you'd probably get fined between 2,500 EC to 5,000 EC if you were caught having a session or even just going for a swim at the beach. So
Wow.
yeah, maybe in weeks to come, but right now, it's not really a thing.
That sounds even more strict than we have in the UK, actually. Like, we can still leave the house anytime, to exercise and stuff. But yeah, no kiting. So yeah, the plan of this is to like get into it. I want to dive deep into your kiteboarding history and career. So let's go way back first. When was the first time you saw kiting? Do you remember that time when you were on the beach and you were like, damn, look at that dude flying? Do you remember that?
Yeah, man. No one forgets that, I think. For me, it was like kind of a while ago now. I think 2003 or even 2002 maybe. It was the first time I saw it. But like 2003 was when like my dad got into it. So obviously I got to see it a lot more and I was like actually exposed to it. I could touch it, see it, like, you know, be really close to how it all worked. So yeah, way back when, man, that's when I first saw it on beach here in Antigua, and I was at the stage as a young kid, like, because my dad was super into windsurfing, so he had a big part on like me seeing it, getting into it, all that stuff. But he was super big into windsurfing, and I was kind of at that age, 10, 11 years old, where I wanted to get into something. And I almost tried windsurfing, but by the time I was like ready to commit to something, my dad was already fully into kiting, so I just went straight to kiting instead of even touching any windsurf gear. So yeah, man, we've been at it for quite a while now.
Yeah. So how old were you when you learned?
Like 10 years old. 10 years old is when I first like started trying it out. But at 10 years old, I wasn't really that stoked on it because I was like still like super in the learning stage. And as a young kid, it was like super frustrating. Like every time you go kiting, you end up on the beach, your lines are tangled up. It wasn't really that fun yet while I was figuring it out. So I was kind of like trying it on and off at 10, but then by 11, like I kind of cracked the code and was like fully hooked. I figured it out. I could like ride, I could go upwind, and that's when like, all right, I started to get super addicted to it and wanted to do it like all the time. And that's been it since 11 years old. Been kiting pretty much every day as much as possible.
Just going with your dad to the beach.
Yeah, that was super influential, you know, going with him, having sessions. You know, he got me my first kite. I didn't really get that many lessons, so it still took me quite a long time to like figure it out all the way. But yeah, going off to school, as soon as school was finished, head down to the beach, still in my school uniform. So yeah, man, it was good times. Definitely.
Do you remember
your
first equipment?
Oh yeah, dude. I had like a Nash 5.5. And I forget what board I had. I forget what brand it was. But yeah, the Nash 5.5, that was a kite, man. 4 lines. So it was, you know, kind of, you know, with the times, just after the whole 2-line pulley bar setup. But yeah, I used that thing for a long time. I basically used it till the leading edge exploded on the beach one day. Pumped it all up, set it up, was about to go for a sesh, and the whole leading edge just split. So I definitely got my sessions out of that 5.5.
Yeah, I had the 7-meter ARX, probably same one. Just as it went 4-line, you could like roll up the tips.
Yeah,
could be 2-line or 4-line. And was there many kiters back in Antigua then?
Not really. I mean, it's kind of similar to now. There's still not that many like local kiters, but back then there were definitely even less. But like back then there was, because Antigua had quite a windsurf, like a pretty decent windsurfing scene. So like a lot of the windsurfer guys kind of started switching over to kiting. So I would say almost back then there might have been even more like core guys doing it a lot, but it was still super small. It's like 10, 20 guys, maybe, probably 10 guys doing it consistently. So yeah, it was an interesting time back then, man.
Yeah, cool. And then when did your path kind of cross with Dre? Like, did you just start meeting Dre on the beach and hanging out?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I was just a young kid hanging out at the beach every day, and Dre was like super into kiting and like really starting to focus on trying to do something with the sport. And my dad actually knew Dre for a long time as well, because Dre used to windsurf. So him and my dad kind of always knew each other. But as a young kid, I started to like see him and kind of be around him from just being at the beach, watching everyone have sessions. And yeah, that's kind of how we met. And yeah, I've known him since I was basically 10 years old. So now I'm 27, so that's like 17 years.
Yeah, that's cool, because
yeah,
at
man.
that time when you were really sort of, I forgot the word, like blossoming, Dre must have been traveling the world, kind of, kind of like almost at his peak. I don't know, like he must have been one of the top guys, even doing the world tour back then, right?
No, for sure, man. Like in the very beginning stages, he was kind of just starting to like do that stuff, just starting to do that. And then by the time I got super into kiting, his career was just really starting to take off. So he kind of just finished doing the tour, did super well with that. And he was kind of transitioning into doing all that media stuff, like being the freaking boss of magazine articles, magazine covers, always had like a media team with him, was always traveling, doing shoots. And yeah, probably in like 2004, 2005, when they started shooting autofocus. For me as a kid, that was huge because they were here in Antigua. They had their spot, sick, basically backyard kite park, you know it. And yeah, they had all the pros here: Moy Gold, Mauricio Brew, Bertrand Fleury, like all the best guys at the time. And again, I'm still like a 11-year-old kid getting to hang out with these guys and like see them building rails, see them leaving their kites up like for weeks at a time because they're just having sessions, shooting all day, shooting all night. And that moment was definitely like super motivating for me as a kid because I saw like what you could do with kiting. And that's when I basically made it up in my mind, like, hey, I want to do that. Like, I'm not gonna think about anything else. Like, that's my life goal, pretty much, is to figure out how to do that. And then over the years, Dre was super helpful, super influential, because as his career grew, he definitely saw that I was like super into it and did like everything he could to kind of help, string me along to kind of create little opportunities for me here and there, whether it was like giving me some more gear, stuff like that to start, or just like connecting me with people to kind of help create opportunities. So yeah, Jay was like super influential for not just like showing me the way, but also like helping me kind of get to where I could start doing something on my own. So yeah, it's cool, man.
That's cool. Dude, autofocus was the one for me. Like, I just watched that so many times and just dreamed of being in Antigua. Like, those sessions just looked so much fun.
Unreal, man. Imagine seeing it for real in real life, like seeing it all happening, like they're building rails and literally they're just at this house, the kite park's in the backyard, and they can basically, their only mission is to just have fun, shoot sick stuff, and hang out. That was like what they were all getting paid to do. So it's crazy, man. It was super motivating.
The original OG cool dudes. Like, the best people in the kite industry to hang out with, just on your doorstep.
Yeah, just hanging out with them every day. It was tricky, man. Like, you see them in a magazine, like see a full like sequence. It's like, dude, this is like, you're right here. You're in the magazine, but like you're right here.
Yeah,
that's cool,
I watched
man.
autofocus so many times, dude.
That was like the blueprint for like, a lot of that style of kiting. That was like what kind of showed the way and was a big kind of door opener, I think, for a lot of stuff going forward.
For sure. So do you remember like when you sort of first got your little sponsorship deal, like first, deals?
Yeah, man. I think I was 16. And basically, again, Dre hooked it up, basically connected me with the, I think, Cabrina distributor from the States. And basically I got some gear sent down. Basically I was just getting some support with free gear, which is cool because I went straight to like getting some free gear, which is not what most people get to do. But that was my first time ever getting like brand new gear where you open it up, plastic and everything's fresh. And as a young kid, it's like, wow, this is crazy, you know? And yeah, that was a huge moment for me because it was just gear. I was just getting gear, but I would basically get like a quiver every year, which is plenty for a kid. And that was a big door opener because now I could just like focus on like riding hard, not worrying about breaking gear, had like the latest stuff. So it kind of just, you know, makes things kind of easier to learn stuff. And yeah, so when I was 16, that's kind of when I first got my first deal, got my first taste of like, oh, this is different, this is cool, there's something here.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of rode that out for a few years. And then eventually kind of wanted to do some more stuff. And it wasn't really working that well for the Karina, but then we transitioned over to another sponsor, Ozone. I think I got sponsored by those guys when I was maybe 18 or 19. And that's again when it started to switch. It was still kind of just gear, but then it kind of grew into starting to get some travel budget, stuff like that. And that's when, you know, doors started to open up even more and I started to do a lot more stuff.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting because for me, like getting the free gear when you were like 16, 17, like getting this equipment that was worth good money, it really taught me a lot of good values, you know, that I think not all team riders have in this day and age. Like if you look after your gear for 6 months and sell it, then you can actually make, you know, just a little bit of cash to maybe, you know, fly to the States for a trip and get your new gear and stuff. So I think that's really key. I think if you see the value in looking after your gear and then also not just going off and actually trying to like use it and get content and you know, prove yourself to the brands basically.
Definitely, yeah. That's super important, man. Learning that skill. Like for me, when I first got the free gear, it was sick. But like, yeah, I was super aware of like, hey, I want to like provide some value. That's when I started learning about making videos and doing stuff like that. Because I still didn't really have much budget to do anything else. Like I had sick gear, but that was it. I was still stuck in Antigua. I still had, you know, Antigua is an amazing place for kiting, but there's almost no opportunity with kiting. It's a beautiful place to do it, but there's no industry here. So yeah, it was pretty hard to provide value, especially on a brand like Karina at that time when they had like so many people. So I was kind of just like this dude, like, oh, here's some gear, do whatever. I was like, we don't want to hear anything else from you. So yeah, figuring out how to provide value to any sort of relationship that you have is super key because the more you can do that, the more things can really start to build into something long term.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because obviously, like, you know, Antigua is amazing and beautiful for kiteboarding, and you can create this amazing content. But like you say, it's hard to find the opportunity there to make it a career. Like for me, I was able to go to like, you know, 5 or 6 national British competitions every year. Yeah, we didn't have consistent wind, and it was tough to make videos. But then I had this outlet to go and meet people in the industry, and it was cheaper for me to just go to, you know, a local competition then you then had to like fly to the States. You kind of like, it was hard to get off the island.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start getting off the island? Like, do you remember like your first kite trip to the States? Was that your first trip?
Yeah, dude, I remember that. It's so crazy. Again, the big homie Dre hooked it up, man. Basically, first trip I ever went on was to Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, to basically compete in the Triple S. And that was the first time I ever kited anywhere else besides my local beach. So how crazy is that to go into like the biggest, like the most pristine, like coolest event to be a part of? Like that was the first time I ever kited anywhere else. So yeah, that was the first trip, and that was again like, whoa, holy shit, this is crazy because like I was again around all the guys at the time. They had the park, they were doing all this stuff. You know, that was like in 2009, I think that was. So pretty early days of Triple S when, you know, riders were still judging the event, and it was like kind of just, you know, going to have a session with a bunch of good kiters. That's kind of what the event was about. And yeah, that was first moment where I got to go see the level of everyone else, got to go see like kind of an industry where they have a kite shop and they have this whole scene and this whole big community around kiting. And yeah, that was the first big trip that kind of, you know, again, showed me possibilities within the sport, showed me that it's kind of a real thing and it exists other places and people are actually building businesses off this stuff and it actually works.
Yeah.
You know, so. So yeah.
Cool. So is there any other highlight trips that you remember, sort of eye-opening trips that you went on, just out of interest? Any other locations?
Oh yeah, basically when I was writing for Ozone, we did a whole European tour. That was like a month long. And that was like crazy, man. It's such a cool experience because I got to see so many places in like such a short time. And it was kind of all organized by Ozone. So basically I was kind of like the face of the tour. So basically we went to all over Europe, went to like Spain, Italy, France, Czech Republic, Lithuania, like tons of places. And basically I would kind of meet like the dealer or distributor like in that place. So just show up and basically they're like, oh, we're gonna take you to all 6 spots, introduce you to everyone, and kind of we're just gonna hang out, talk about gear, and just be in the kite scene in these places. And that was super duper cool because again, you're getting to be around like people who actually eat, sleep, and breathe kiting, and actually building businesses off kiting, and you're getting to see like places that I didn't even know existed, like Lithuania. I'd never heard of Lithuania before. You know, oh what? There's a flight to Lithuania. Okay, where's that? What happens over there? So yeah, that was definitely a highlight trip for my life, is just getting to see so many places in that format too, because it was so organized and it was kind of like stress free. It was a lot of moving around, but it was pretty stress free. It was like, oh, Sam's in the UK, I'm gonna show up at Sam's house and he's gonna like take care of me and show me all the spots. So it was cool, man. So that's again.
I can imagine that. Trip just being so valuable for Ozone. Like I always say to team riders and people that just going and hanging out with the distributors and helping out with demos is one of like the most valuable things that you can do. And you learn so much from like standing in a shop, chatting to the instructor, to the shop owner, to the distributor, all about these products, and it completely changes the idea you have of the industry and the sport. You know, it's really interesting. And going to different countries and cultures that are all so close together in Europe, it's just so different than Antigua, or even the States, really, isn't it?
For sure, man. It's a whole different world. Like I would go to places and I'm like, man, why would you even kite here? It's kind of a weird spot. It's cold. It's weird, but like there's a huge scene and people are super into it. And you know, yeah, going to those shops and stuff is super valuable. I wish I could do more of that stuff because you know, that's the stuff that's kind of feeding the whole industry and keeping brands alive. And actually, that's what fuels everything. So learning how those things operate and learning how they like actually sustain, and you know how different markets work and how each scene, like how they connect with actually the riders in those spaces, is super important to kind of understand. So yeah, stuff like that's super valuable, and that's why a lot of brands do a lot of demos and you know actually get some face-to-face time with the dealers and also with the community there. That stuff can definitely go a long way.
Yeah, that networking, like that old saying of, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know, applies so much to kiting. Just meeting people in the industry and makes such a big difference, doesn't it?
Huge. That's everything, man. You could be the best rider in the world. If you know no one, if no one knows you, it's very hard to make anything happen. So literally just trying to inject yourself in the scene in any way possible can, you know, make things happen a lot easier.
And at that age, it's like you think that, oh, if I can just do this trick and this trick, then I'm gonna make it. You know, you really just don't get it. Like that's what's crazy. You go to these shops and demos and you realize no one even knows those tricks that you're desperately trying to do. That's what's such an eye opener, isn't it? And then he came to England.
Yeah, cool. The UK, man. UK is a good spot. Got to hang out with you for quite a long time. I remember stayed with you for like a month or something, or more than that.
Yeah, it was sick. We rode cable a bunch, went to some UK competitions.
Yeah. Ended up going to Russia off the tail end of that trip. That was kind of like after the whole Ozone tour. So that like I think it was afterwards. We wanted to go to Russia and then we stayed there. I ended up staying with you for a while just to like pass some time.
Yeah, dude, that was a fun time.
Epic.
Riding cable, and those trips to Russia were crazy.
Wild, man. Wild place. Yeah, that's the cool thing with kiting. Like, you know, if things line up, like we don't always make that much money necessarily for a long time, but then you get to do a lot of cool stuff. You get to meet a lot of cool people. You get to build connects. You get to see places that you would never ever come across. Like you wouldn't just randomly go to Russia, you know. But kiting kind of pops up in all these weird, quirky places, and it's a cool way to see a lot of the world.
Yeah, and you get comfortable, kind of being a little bit uncomfortable, like being a little bit strapped for cash. you know, and people want to help you out. Like, you know, like your sponsor might be like, oh, don't worry about giving me that board back, you know, keep that board, and then you sell it in England, you know, and then you're able to get that next plane trip. And I always found that reinvesting back in to get to the next place was the key to keep building. Even though you weren't really making any money, it just helped elevate.
For sure, man. Yeah, for sure. You learn to do a lot with very little, and you learn to be smart with the things you do have, and you learn to maximize every little thing, you know, because I think for a lot of people when they get into kiting, it's really about the passion. It's about like really just wanting to make it work. That's what it was for me. That's what it kind of still is. And you know, when it's like that, you really get good at kind of, you know, taking care and really milking everything that you have and just being smart about it. It's okay if you don't have a lot. Once you have something, you can kind of make that work for quite a long time. So
Yeah, and if you try the different things as well, you kind of, you know, try some comps, try some traveling, kind of get an idea what you really enjoy and where you see the potential is. And I think you really, you know, found that with you know, YouTube and making content. When did that kind of start to become a thing for you?
yeah, probably in the past 3-4 years, it became like super real. Like, this is it. I'm not going to be distracted by anything else. That's my goal. But like, it kind of started early on. Like when I first got sponsored, like way back at 16, like that was kind of something I was working on. It wasn't necessarily YouTube stuff, but it was like, okay, I got to figure out how to like make some videos, do some photos, do stuff like that, because I couldn't go to comps. I couldn't travel, go do dealer meetings. I couldn't go do demos. I was just on this beautiful island, perfect for photo and video. So that's kind of when I started just learning about video stuff. And again, seeing Dre kind of transition into making videos like autofocus, stuff like that. I was like, okay, you know, videos, they have some value. It was not like what it is now where like, okay, YouTube definitely makes sense. But yeah, it started way back then. That's when I first started learning how to make videos. That's the reason why I started picking up a camera and filming stuff, figuring out how to like cut clips together, was to kind of figure out ways to not only showcase my skills, but also try and bring some value to, you know, my sponsors at the time. But yeah, probably in the past 2-3 years was when I really like just honed in on the whole YouTube stuff and really focusing on creating content for the kiteboarding community. Just trying to be that guy where I'm here to kind of answer any questions you guys have. I'm here to kind of show you guys the best side of the sport. And that's what I'm into. That's what I like doing. That's what I'm going to focus on. And that's where I'm going to spend all my energy. I'm not really that focused in going to comps, trying to be the best kiteboarder. I'm kind of just want to be the guy that, you know, shows you the sickest side of kiting and shows you like it's actually for everyone. If you're brand new, there's a lot here for you. If you've been kiting for a while, if you're old, if you're young, there's like just kind of highlighting all these cool aspects that if you're like a full competition rider, you don't really think about. Yeah, I've been enjoying it, man. Kind of being a hybrid rider where I'm, you know, obviously focusing on my riding, trying to keep that good, but also getting super into filmmaking, super into storytelling, and learning that whole other skill, which has actually just helped me besides kiting, you know. Maybe late down the line, if I can't kite anymore, I'm actually pretty decent filmmaker now. Maybe I can start making films, start doing movies, start doing whatever kind of projects. So yeah, right now I enjoy both those things pretty much equally. So it's been working well.
Cool. And then what advice would you give to that kiteboarder out there that's, you know, struggling to get to the comps and finding the money, maybe wants to start YouTubing and does a bit of Instagram, but, you know, YouTube's such a different audience. What would you tell that kiteboarder out there?
I would say, yeah, just start trying to figure it out. Start learning the platform, kind of look at YouTube in a way like a producer, not just a consumer. Look at why things work on YouTube, why people are watching certain videos, and, you know, eventually you'll start to see the value in it. I think now it's definitely becoming more and more apparent. YouTube is definitely a real thing. There are lots of people who build huge businesses just off YouTube. And within kiting, it's still fairly small. It's starting to grow. But yeah, just figuring out ways to communicate your message, highlight your skills, share your knowledge, you know, kind of build kind of just a presence on who you are. You know, that's kind of what YouTube's good for. And Instagram, all social is just good for kind of highlighting what you have to offer. Whether that's being super good at tricks, whether that's having a lot of experience within kiting, so you just have a lot of knowledge to share, whether that's being super nerdy into gear and knowing all the little tech things about gear, whether that's being super nerdy about the weather, like whatever, everyone has a skill, everyone has something that they're into. So figuring out a way to show that and share it with others, it will be beneficial, and it's a cool way to kind of bring value to not only yourself and build a brand for yourself, but also to kind of showcase yourself to future sponsors and future clients, you know?
Yeah, that's it. It's
So,
such a good way to like quantify your worth, you know, to say, look, I made 50 videos this year, I got 1 million views, you know. I always tell people like you could make one video a month and or a week and get 100 views. If you make, you know, 100 of those, then suddenly you've actually got a decent amount of views, you know. I think so
yep,
many people like second guess themselves, and everyone's guilty of it. You film yourself and you're like, I look so stupid, I'm never going to put that online. Like the first vlogs you make like are just horrendous. Like you look at them like, I look so stupid. But most people don't think that. Like most people don't think you look as silly as you think you look. And I think you just have to start, don't you? You just have to just get it out there. Like I rarely actually watch my videos back because I can't. I just edit them, get them out there, and just like I
you're
don't
in
want
the
to see myself.
vortex.
Yeah,
You're in the
just
vortex.
you watch it back and it's like, oh, I can't believe I put that out. But actually, it's all part of the process, isn't it? Of like learning what you want to do and how you want to make it, and you know, like I love how you found like actually really high production value and really utilize what you have at your disposal in Antigua. You know, like the
Yeah, man.
amazing watercolor and consistent wind, and yeah, like being able to have high production value to videos is really cool.
For sure, man. Like that's something that took me a long time, you know, like freaking kiting like since 16 years old, and it was only till like it was 23, 24, 25, like when I finally figured out like, whoa, I have this like valuable asset. Let me like maximize this, you know. So it takes a long time. So if you really want to do this, if you want to start building something for yourself, just start now. Start making little minute videos. Start making whatever idea you have. Just actually finish that idea and keep finishing those ideas, and eventually, a year, 2 years from now, you may be someone that we all know because you've kind of found your thing, you know. So
It
yeah,
takes
starting is
time,
key.
doesn't it, dude? I can't say that enough. It takes a long time. Even if anything, if it's making videos, competitions, you've got to be doing it for years before people start to take notice, don't they?
Definitely, consistency is key, man. You can't just do one thing, expect it to work, and if it doesn't, give up. You gotta like set your goals. Like, yo, this is a long-term plan, and you're just gonna keep trying until things start feeling a bit better, and maybe eventually things actually click together, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I see it's been cool, like you sort of bringing Megan involved in the YouTubing. How's that been? That seems pretty fun to like be working on that together, you know?
Definitely, man. Because again, like she's super into kiting. Like she's kind of been kiting for like 4 years now, and she's a cool girl kiter. Like again, living in the same place I'm living in, so it's just she has a lot of stuff to offer. But again, like for her, it's just learning the whole process. You know, starting
Yeah.
to get her learning how to like make cut videos and stuff like that. Because it's one thing like you can be there like, hey, I'm on camera. Woo, I can just do this. But then it's like actually to be behind the scenes and like do all the pre-production stuff. It's a different skill. So she's
Yeah.
definitely been learning a lot about that stuff, and it's been super cool to just be able to like integrate her and kind of have her be part of like what we're doing. So we're doing it together. Um, and yeah, it's been good. She's cool girl, super chill, super fired up and everything. And yeah, we're just trying to build something for both of us.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. And obviously, she's obviously like super creative too. You know, has a different eye on it. So it's cool to see you guys working together and developing.
Yeah, man, and she's like super sick at art. Like she's actually just about to like go hard at an art channel. So like she's gonna do that as well as kiting. But like I think with art, like she's like within 6 months, a year, if she focuses hard, she could be like one of the first girls that pop up when you search art stuff. So like that's the thing too, is like really with this stuff is figure out what your skill set is. Everyone kind of have a skill set, or they have a skill set that they want to work on. Figure out what that is and really give it a chance and focus on that. Don't try and don't it's good to learn things, but don't get too distracted. Don't try and do too many things. But like, find your fun skill set, figure out who that skill set's for. And if you do a good job at that, you could probably build something sick for yourself.
Whoa, that's some good knowledge right there, dude. Some good knowledge.
Dropping it, bro.
So what holds in the future, dude? What you got any projects or any plans that you'd like to develop more? Like I know you were doing a few trips and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, I'm still kind of figuring it out. That's the stage I'm at now, is really figuring out what the future holds. I definitely want to get more into doing trips, more into kind of sharing experiences here in Antigua. I think that's probably the first goal. hopefully when the world gets back to normal, people start traveling again. And I kind of just want to be the guy for Antigua and maybe potentially the Caribbean, just kind of be that guy to kind of connect people and also just nail down some services here because we have a lot to offer on, in my backyard, but don't really have everything necessarily organized yet to really cater to offering those services. So that's a big one. It's just working on that stuff, figuring out best way to do that. And then also with all online stuff too, I want to kind of get better at that and better at building some products and services that also feed the online community. So even if you don't get to come out to Antigua, there's still something of value that you can kind of grab onto and help you out, which will also help me. Because yeah, it's hard doing what we do, man. Like, it's fun, but it's a lot of work. It takes over a lot of your mental stuff that you think about every day. So I'm just trying to get to where it feels a bit more sustainable. I'm not so reliant just on like a sponsor supporting what I'm doing, kind of building my own business that I'm more in control of. So that's kind of a goal of mine. So still working on it. I feel like I've been working on it forever, but that's kind of the goal, is just to build something that's somewhat sustainable,
Yeah, for sure. You have that weird feeling that as a sponsored rider, you're pretty kind of dispensable. And it's always a concern, that thinking about it, isn't it? It's like, what am I going to do in the future? So it's good that you're thinking about that. I think everyone has to think about that, but I think it's really relevant when you're sponsored and you're on the marketing budget, and it's really hard to gauge your value. But if you have your own control over it, it would be nice.
Definitely.
Antigua just has so much to offer as well, kiting, and also a lot of people that come there, kite, and then leave, that want to have a good experience. And there's not that many like places to get onto the water in Antigua, even though it's an amazing island. If you don't have a boat, you can't see half or even a quarter of the places.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I want to get good at, is just being able to like facilitate those things, because Antigua's a gem, man. When it's in season, everything wind's on, it's like there's no place I'd rather be. So I just want to get good at sharing that with others.
I love Antigua. I just want to quickly jump back to island time as well.
Let's go.
How good was island time? Like, for me, that was one of the best trips I've ever done, because having like Dre being like the coolest, like my idol kiteboarder, like marketing guru style icon, like to go and experience island time was like the ultimate. It was like me going to see autofocus, like where it's made. It was so cool.
Yeah, man, island time was crazy. That's a freaking sick project, because it was like it was like the perfect infusion of like raw, actual island life, the whole lime and the whole hanging out, the whole having a good time, and then infused with like sick, Antigua kiting.
Yeah,
so it was a freaking.
Must have been about 10 years ago now.
Probably, yeah. We need to look it up. It's been ages.
I reckon it was. I think it was.
Yeah.
It must be close to 10 years.
Yeah, crazy, man. But that was good, man. Again, that was like super motivation, I think, for probably both of us, just to show like, oh shit, like, because the video did super well, and that's again like, oh, it's an actual blueprint of like, hey, this works, this has value. This is us kiting, this is us showing product, this is us doing a video, and it's reached like 500 to 1,000 people. There's some value in that. So that was again one of those early blueprints, like way back, that was kind of building all the stuff that we're doing now with all this YouTube content, stuff like that. So yeah, Dre was a boss, man. He was like way before his time. Like he was like super smart with everything he did, and really laid the groundwork for everything that's happening now. I think a lot of people who are into kiting now may not know a lot of this stuff, or they just missed that whole window of the sport. But he did a lot for getting the sport to where it is now.
100%. So much. Yeah, so many people don't even realize as well. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Toner? How's things at Toner these days? Like,
yeah, we're still ticking along, man. Right now with the whole Corona stuff, things are kind of getting shaken up a little bit. So we're kind of just somewhat on pause, kind of just seeing what's going to happen with the world. Obviously still trying to develop some new product and stuff like that, but we're kind of just weathering the storm a bit. But yeah, the brand's good, man. We've had a good year before all this stuff. We're building product. We got kite in the range now, which is sick. So that, there's another tool for people to get out on the water. So it's all good. Still a fairly small brand, still trying to grow it. But for the most part,
it's awesome that you have so much like influence in the marketing and stuff, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a small team of people, so we're all very hands-on with everything, whether it's gear design, whether it's marketing, stuff like that. So it's just tight knit group. And so far it's been good, man. I've been super stoked on the gear, super stoked on the look of the brand and the actual product. So it's everything's sick. Like it's a brand that I love being a part of just for everything because it's family basically. It's all the guys I've known forever. And the product we make is actually super cool. But we just gotta keep chipping away and keep building it out to where we can, again build something that's super sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I like the content you put out for the brand, man. It looks good.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Do my best.
Well, yeah, I think that wraps it up. I think.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, it's good to kind of, think back a bit and backtrack and how we all got here. It's been a
Yeah,
pretty
man,
wild
and
ride.
I'll put all the links to all the videos in the description below. And maybe overlay some pictures in here. You can see some old pictures of you kiting. That would be awesome.
Oh, snap. Yeah, man.
But yeah,
It's
thanks a
cool.
lot for your time and sharing some valuable knowledge. I think a lot of Groms out there should be watching this, taking your blueprint and running with it, really. So much potential out there.
Yeah, man. These days, it's all for you. Just got to do the work. It's a lot easier to do the work than ever before. So get after it.
Sweet. Thanks a lot, dude. Thanks for watching,
Cool,
guys.
Well, that was cool, wasn't it? Jake's got a lot of really valuable knowledge that's definitely worth noting for those budding YouTubers out there or future pros that want to get sponsored. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. I'm going to try and do one of these every week. Let me know any other kiteboarders or anybody that you want me to interview in the comments below. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.